Champions Cup Sunday games, folks. I've just gone ahead and watched a couple of these and caught up on the stats and highlights of the two that I did not watch. 4 games on. At least one rather large scoreline. I mean, I would have considered the third game to be large in the scheme of things, but it ended up being more conservative this week. We'll go through the game, some of the key event stats, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how things went. The first game, Leinster and Montpellier. When you score more points than there are minutes in the game, that's about as big a hiding as you like to get. Bloody hell, that's like phenomenal, disgraceful, amazing, record-breaking, whatever you want to call it, man. I know Montpellier didn't put out their best team, and they ended up with a man getting red carded towards the end of the game. I didn't watch this game. I knew it was going to be a hiding because I saw the lineup that Montpellier picked, and even I knew that wasn't their best team. And I saw the lineup Leinster picked, and I figured Leinster would be pretty mad. So I figured it would be, 40, 50 points, and there wouldn't really be much drama. But holy cow, who saw 89 points coming? Nobody. Goodness gracious. Like, I didn't even really take any notes when I was watching the highlights. They had 7 minutes highlight to this game. There's like 14 tries. I mean, bloody hell. I should go over the try scorers. Conan got 2. 1 at the start, 1 at the end. 2 minutes they were on the board. I mean, it was a minute something. Gibson Park got 1. Ross Byrne, Maloney, Ala Alatoa, Lama, Josh van der Fleer got a couple. One of them was a peach. Like, it's hard to remember all the tries in that game because there were so many. But Montpellier throw this long line-out move, kind of, I think, just slightly inside their own half. Van der Fleer reads it from a mile away and just puts the hammer down, goes over for a try. It really stuck out in my mind. O'Brien got 1, and he looked really kind of dangerous, fleet-footed, nimble, quick. So, yeah, it seems pretty impressive. Sheehan got a couple, and James Lowe got 1 at death. Like, Leinster wanted more points. I feel like Leinster were pretty mad about the previous game being canned 28-0. This game at one point was 28-0 to Leinster, but that was after like 23 minutes. It's when they had their bonus points. So, man, they didn't actually show what the red card was for Montpellier. They did get 1 try from close range. The same guy who got the try, was it Dakua? Also got red carded. I think it was for a clean out on Van der Fleer from what I read online, but they didn't show it in the highlights. There was no time. But I thought it was over at 82-7, but then there was still 1 try in them. They didn't want to stop scoring. Unbelievable. I mean, it does make a little bit of the mockery of a Champions Cup thing. If a champion team can get beaten 89-7, but I mean, they can't control what kind of side gets put out. So, all you can say is Leinster, they're a brutal side, man. They did not take the foot off the throat. Like, once you get 50 points up, you can ease up, man. Nope. It just kept going. Stats-wise, possession and territory is 56-44, interestingly, to Leinster. But run meters, I say 1,075, which is similar to, like, the All Blacks against Tonga, 100 points numbers, to 317. Clean breaks, 20-1. Defenders beaten 40-11. Guys that got 100 plus run meters in this game: Conan, Van der Fleer, O'Brien, Ringrose, Lama. Jeez. Crazy stuff. Henry Thomas for Montpellier has 16 out of 20 tackles. Take that as a bright spark. But yeah, there you go. What a hiding. That's unheard of. Amazing. Yeah. Leinster did the job. And then some. Jeez, haven't seen anything like that for a while. Not at this level in this competition as well. Yeah, Leinster have got Bath away next. Bath will be looking at this and maybe not being too pleased, because remember, Leinster aren't qualified yet. And then Montpellier are home to Exeter. Hopefully they pick a stronger lineup, but they may not, because by all accounts there's a focus on the top 14. So, yep, that was that game. Do let me know what else happened. If I mean, basically the highlights were just try after try after try. So, yeah. What else can you say? The next game I did watch because I figured it would be a bit closer, and so it ended up. Ulster are qualified now with this 24 points to 20 away win. I mean, the star of this show and man of the match was, his name is Michael, isn't it? Lowry, the little fullback. He's looked pretty impressive when I've seen him playing for Ulster in the URC thus far, and he looked equally impressive in this one for Ulster in the Champions Cup. I would say, though, Northampton at times were sometimes the masters of their own demise. You can't be giving away some of the opportunities that they did in this game. I mean, Ulster cracked their defence pretty early. Balakoon, who come back from injury, also looked bloody sharp, which was really pleasing to see. He's such a powerful runner, isn't he? He's quick, rangy. Doesn't look that quick, but he's quick. I mean, they got a 5-0 lead early, and they made it 12-0 when they got the second one through Doak. So, yeah, I mean, Northampton had some chances, but they just wouldn't get any points on the board until they slotted a penalty on about, what, I don't know, was it 20 minutes? Northampton had a great chance to attack, and then they lost their own line out. So, yeah, some chances certainly went begging for them, which in the scheme of things they'll think, kind of poor play. But I mean, you got to give credit to Ulster for being kind of able to disrupt at times. I mean, what Northampton were good at was when they were under pressure, they were able to kind of win turnovers. Their defence made a fair few tackles in this game, and when they were under the pump, they were able to kind of hold Ulster out, which is not always an easy thing to do because Ulster's a side kind of chock full of game breakers. So, I mentioned Lowry earlier. The thing that guy's got is just the ability to kind of like be in the right place at the right time, sniff an opportunity. When there's loose ball, he absolutely pounces on it. He's really got a good nose for that kind of thing. So, yeah, the first try, I think, was it the Balakoon try or the Doak try? One of them was loose ball, and he kind of set it up. And then he got his own one on 39 minutes right before halftime. Again, it was loose ball, and he just pounced on it. I think they TMO'd that one, but it was all good. Second half, Northampton was up to for 3. They did get one through Bigger on 36 minutes, I should say. They finally kind of managed to get that one done. They got the ball wide. I mean, I think it was Laws from turnover ball, right? And they finally spun the ball wide. So that was kind of, kind of pleasing. And the last pass was a pretty sweet offload. But it was still a deficit that they went in at half time. 13-19 in the second half. Northampton get the turnovers on defence, was kind of keeping the game close. Alex Mitchell with Eddie Jones watching on probably didn't have his finest hour. He got nutmegged at one point when the ball went between his legs. He got yellow carded for slowing the ball down when Ulster were hot on attack. Probably not his finest hour as Eddie's kind of narrowing down the squad for the Six Nations. There was a shocking point. I mean, speaking of sides blowing chances, Ulster as well. I know Madigan, I don't think he's been getting that much game time. Has he been injured? But he comes on for Billy Burns, and they've got like a chance to kick for touch when Mitchell's in the bin. It's 5 metres out, so he just needs to kind of kick it, touch, set the maul, or even just call a scrum, guys. Call a scrum, Mitchell's in the bin. You're going to find an extra back somewhere. Madigan decides to tap it and catch everyone unawares. Well, Northampton were awares, and the Ulster teammates seemed not to be, so they got turned over. Like, both these sides, if Ulster had lost it, they'd have reasons to kind of go back to this match and have reasons to kind of blame themselves as well. So I think both sides were a bit guilty of, not converting some chances. Eventually, also, though, to get the bonus point try, Lowry got his second one on 60 minutes. It kind of looked like the game was done. It was like quick ball dummies, and that was the one that Balakoon had a good part in setting up offloads and just great hands all around. 24-13 was the lead, but Bigger missed touch at one point. It was kind of brutal, but they managed to score through Hutchison, who was the star of the show for Northampton, right before full time, 30 seconds to go, and they took a quick droppy to at least force a restart, but then there was nothing doing. So, it was a pretty tense game, which is kind of what you like to see. Ulster looked to have it sealed up with a minute to go, but Northampton didn't give up, so credit to them for that, even if they didn't get the result. Possession 53-47 and territory 54-46 to Ulster. Run meters 607 to 458 to Ulster. Clean breaks 8-3 to Ulster, but turnovers 8-2 to Northampton. Like those turnovers on defence really keeping them in the game. Ludlam, man, he was pretty immense. Northampton, though, Hutchison, 109 run meters, 2 clean breaks. Looks just genuinely very dangerous. Ludlam, 23 out of 23 tackles. That's a massive shift. Lowry, like I mentioned, 190 run meters. That's bonkers. Like 3 clean breaks for him. Timony and Herring both had 14 tackles. So, yeah, Ulster are qualified. We'll see what they can do for the rest of the competition. They've still got 1 game left to see how high they can qualify. They're home to Clermont. And Northampton are away to Racing, which could get pretty hairy because they got well beaten when they played them at home, let alone playing them over in France. Speaking of games in France, Bordeaux and Scarlets, I didn't watch this one because I thought it would probably be a hiding, and it ended up being the lesser of 2 hidings. 45 points to 10 on most days would be one of the bigger scorelines, and I guess it is, but it's nothing compared to what happened to Montpellier, is it? So, yeah, Bordeaux still looked the business. They made some late changes, which I wasn't aware of, but people helpfully point them out in the comments. Jalibert ended up getting a start. They moved Cordero to number 9, which is maybe a genius move because he seemed to be running the ball from everywhere. I've not seen him play scrum half before. He's usually in the outside back. So took 20 minutes to score, but Woki gets the first one, and Cordero kind of had a hand in setting it up with a wee snipe. And that was kind of from Liam Williams dropping a ball as well. So maybe not his finest day, although Liam Williams did end up getting a try. 1 of 2 for Scarlets in this game. The second Bordeaux try, I think, started with a Cordero snipe. Maybe I'm mixing that up with the first one, but it was 14-0. Liam Williams got yellow carded. So, yeah, and then Bordeaux immediately scored. So 21-0 at half-time. Bonus point try, 26-0. Bordeaux's hands seem to be pretty slick. What's his name? BRA, the fullback, gets 3 in the game. Is he the fullback? I think so. Could be wrong. Cross got 1. Lamoth and Ducan. Yeah, man, it was a bunch of tries for Bordeaux in this one. Scarlets were under the pump. They did get a couple. Gareth Davis showed some proper wheels, which was pleasing to see. Like, he's not supposed to be able to outrun the outside backs, but he managed to get that done. And yeah, like I said, Liam Williams got 1. That one was from Reece Patchell, putting a nice kick through. I seemed to catch everybody unaware, so kind of good play. But in the scheme of things, 45-10 is a bit of a hiding. So yeah, Bordeaux also not qualified. Remember, they lost the opener to Leicester. They get a chance to rectify that. They're away to Leicester next. Scarlets are at home to Bristol. Stats-wise, this game, possession 55-45, territory 63-37, all to Bordeaux. Run meter 726 to 272, so pretty one-sided. Clean breaks 9-2, defenders beaten 39-7, so all pretty lopsided numbers. 2 yellow cards for Scarlets. Lozana makes 16 out of 17 tackles, which is a solid shift no matter what the result. But Cordero, 108 run meters and 2 try assists for a scrum half. Not bad, seeing as he's not usually in that position. BRA makes 89 run meters and 3 clean breaks, plus his 3 tries. Quite a shift as well. So, yeah, that's that one. 45 points to 10. The last one, Clermont and Sale. I also watched this one. Yeah, Gut told me this was going to be one of the other closer games, and sure enough, it was also pretty close. I think Sale maybe did a bit better than I thought they were going to do, because they've been a bit average at times in the Premiership this year. There were some weird moments in this game as well. Like, I wasn't too fond of Clermont's tactics when they had the Sharks a man down, but there was one point where, was it Raka couldn't take a pass, and then Lopez had to try and regather it in his own goal area, but then he didn't touch the ball down. It was kind of a moment of genius where everyone just thinks he's going to touch a ball down, it's going to be a goal line dropout. But he starts running it, and then as he's making this break out of his own 22, he passes it to the ref, who's not wearing a set of kit that's like clashing with the Clermont kit. So it was very, very weird. Interestingly, from that, Clermont didn't really get a good exit going, and they ended up with Jean-Luc Dupria going over. So from close range, it made it 5-0. So it was actually kind of a costly mistake from Clermont. But they did hit back. Fritz Lee got the first try for them. The gap in the Sale defence was pretty huge. It was kind of the Red Sea thing there. And then Pinot, who was playing in the midfield this week, kind of a bit reminiscent of whenever we see Rieko Ioane play in the midfield for the All Blacks. Having that guy with a bit of extra gas when a winger moves into the midfield and he's still got his wheels. Pinot had way too much gas for Rob du Preez. And he set up Raka for the second try. So Clermont went and extended their lead. That being said, your man Roebuck has also got some proper wheels. And it was Rob du Preez who set that one up with a nice dink and kick. Roebuck ends up with not many run meters because he wasn't carrying with the ball for the chase of that kick through. But he was proper quick. So it was tied up 12 points apiece. And much of this game was spent with the scores tied up actually. Sale tapped from about 5 meters out, and they got their third one through Rod from about as close range as you can get. So they went back in front 19-12, and Sale did get held up one more time. No, it was Rucker that was bobbling the ball that time, but he was the one who puts in the try saver underneath the ball. So I'm getting confused with the Lopez one earlier. But yeah, some interesting goings on in Clermont's own 22. Either way, it was 19-12, but Pinot did get the last try of the half. All the tries scored in the first half. There's no tries scored in the second half. Yeah, Pinot gets one, a grubber. All started from who's Sharks halfback? He tried to kind of find touch, but he ended up kicking it sideways. So it was a 5 metre scrum for Clermont because it didn't even go into the field of play. It stayed in the in goal. Like, you can't be doing that kind of stuff. I know you're under pressure, but you can't be doing that kind of stuff in the Champions Cup if you want to get a result. So a wee bit guilty. Second half, the Sharks have to play with a man down for 10 minutes because they've got a yellow card right at the end of the first because it was a deliberate knock on. But Clermont can't score any points. And I mentioned, like, they would kick the ball. When they got the extra man, I figured kicking the ball away, not exploiting the extra man. I mean, I know they're finding a bit of space sometimes, but yeah, they were throwing it into touch. It was kind of frustrating. Sometimes when they did kick it well, they were unable to execute enough to finish off a move. Or sometimes I'm thinking, man, just keep the ball in hand. Stop trying the kind of, we're going to score it right now. And just go through some phases. Eventually you'll find the space because you got a man up, but they couldn't score any points. So Sale did well to kind of hold them out. But yeah, a couple of penalties, 22-19 and then another one, 25-19 was the way the game finished. So the second half was a lot less kind of frantic than the first. A fair few errors, a lot of scrums, knock-ons and whatnot, so the ball seemed a wee bit slippery. But yeah, losing bonus point to Sale and a decent win for Clermont, although they would have liked a bonus point, I'm sure. They are away to Ulster next week, and Sale are at home to the Ospreys. Possession was 50-50, territory is 54-46 to Sale, but run meters 435-320 to Clermont. Clermont more clean breaks 6-3, defenders beaten 26-13, so double for Clermont. Raka 117 run meters and a clean break. Pinot 74 run meters and 3 clean breaks. He's just so dangerous. He gets man of the match. Fritz Lee 15 from 15 tackles. Luke James, the fullback for Sale, gets 89 run meters and a clean break. Dan du Preez 11 from 11 tackles. So yeah, just not quite there, but a solid effort. Clermont at the end, just 2 penalties, too good. But I don't think either side will be overly thrilled with the way they played, but certainly Clermont to get the win. We'll take that all the way to the bank. So yeah, interesting weekend of games. Leinster 89 points to 7 is just bonkers. That's like going back and playing Rugby 08 and putting it on easy. But yeah, takes a special side to be able to clock up almost 100 points. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. Which games did you watch? Which ones did you enjoy? Yeah, I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.